Good morning from our NewsNation headquarters in America's heartland. It's time for news for all America. I hope your bellies and your hearts are full this morning because mine sure is. And I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Nick Smith.
Consumers are spending more, about $20 more, in fact, on gifts for family. Of course, there are a lot of gifts out there.
Yeah, a lot of gifts out there, but will there be a lot of shoppers? We're live with how inflation could cut into America's biggest spending weekend. And before you shop till you drop, the 5 money moves you can make right now so you can dodge holiday debt. And if you're headed back home from your Thanksgiving trip, an Arctic blast and snowstorms could be your travel buddies. We're tracking what you need to know to stay weather aware. It's Friday, and it's morning in America. The busiest shopping day or days are right here, right now. And stores big and small are doing everything they can to get you to come out on Black Friday and through the weekend. They're extremely aware that inflation could have an impact on the way you spend money. So far, early data from Adobe shows consumers have spent more than $77 billion online from November 1st to November 24th. That number is actually up from last year. NewsNation's Mills Hayes is braving the shoppers at a Target store. Mills, Target has one big draw to get people inside the stores, and that's pop superstar Taylor Swift.
Hey, good morning, Nick. I wouldn't say I'm braving the shoppers, more like braving the weather at this point, but we did see a line out here outside of this Target just a few moments ago. They just let people in. There was about 50 people standing outside that had gathered about 30 minutes before Target had opened. But the big thing here today for Target that's trying to bring more shoppers in is the Taylor Swift Eras Tour book. It's going to be in here in stores, $40. It's the first time that it's going to be available. And then on top of that, her second half of her album, the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, that was the 15 additional songs that dropped about 2 hours after the first album back in April. That album is coming out on CD and vinyl exclusively only here in Target. We've seen lines of Swifties getting ready to go into Target, on social media. Here we saw those people walking in, but we know that this is going to be a record-breaking holiday shopping season. And the National Retail Federation says that nearly 190 million Americans will actually be out here shopping. Now, we do know that because of inflation, many consumer buying power has gone down over the past few years. With this shopping season, about half of the people describe that their financial situation is strained, meaning that they're struggling to pay bills or have very little left over for savings or for the holidays. And about 85% of consumers say they are planning to cut back over the next 6 months for non-essentials like dining out, clothes, luxury items. And on average, consumer prices rose 22% from January 2020 to August 2024. So just in the past 4 years, prices have rose by over 20%. But in some U.S. cities, Americans are feeling the inflation even more than others. Tampa has the highest inflation rate at 29%. Then Miami, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Seattle follow. So people in those cities are going to be spending a little bit more money on goods. A lot of that is contributed to a rise in costs like rent and also utilities. Now, the National Retail Federation says that they expect a record number of people to be out here shopping, as well as a record amount of money being spent. Consumers here in America are expected to spend nearly $989 billion between November and December. And Nick, the most popular gifts are pretty typical for what you would expect: clothes, toys, candy, and all of those good things like that, Nick. But we should see that this shopping area is going to get a little bit busier as the day goes up. Some people probably sleeping in from their Thanksgiving dinner, I assume.
I assume it's the same, Mills. Mills, stay warm. Mills, thank you so much. Some of those Black Friday deals may be delayed if they're coming from Amazon. Workers in more than 20 countries, including the United States, are on strike or protesting through Cyber Monday. It's their 5th Make Amazon Pay. Its intent to call attention to alleged labor abuses and environmental threats. Workers in New York City are planning to demonstrate outside owner Jeff Bezos' home today. Amazon says the group is pushing a false narrative, and the company provides great pay and benefits. Wicked weather from coast to coast could cause chaos for anyone trying to travel this holiday weekend. Highway patrol units across the country and the TSA are preparing for a record number of travelers who have to get back home. News Nation's Xavier Walter joins us live from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Xavier, the Friday after Thanksgiving isn't usually a big air travel day, but you say that TSA thinks that this year could be different.
Well, yes, and I'm going to say it's not that I said it, it's that a lady I spoke to from TSA says that she believes today could be as busy as yesterday or the day before, where TSA screened some 2.7 million people through their checkpoints nationwide. And believe it or not, this year alone already has seen 10 of TSA's busiest days just this year. And they believe this trend could continue, potentially breaking records. Some people simply, making an early return home after the holiday to miss that potential weather heading this way that could cause major delays across the country. So far this morning, we're seeing hundreds. You know what? That number could go up, no doubt, especially considering how early it is. But travel experts, without a doubt, already looking ahead to Sunday.
Sunday is still the busiest day. The TSA is projecting record numbers of people flying through the airports on Sunday after Thanksgiving. But that Monday is also busy as well. That Monday, you have not only people coming back from their trips, but Monday is also a work day and a school day for a lot of people.
So that rush to return home will be on the roads as well. More than 70 million Americans drove to their destination for Thanksgiving. That means more than 70 million Americans will be driving home. Here are the best and worst times, according to AAA. If you're driving home, at least today, the best time would be after 1 p.m. A lot of people waking up early, just said, I can't take it, I need to leave. The worst time if you're leaving on Sunday, though, which a lot of people are getting home before Monday, would be between noon and 6 p.m. Thinking to head home, the best before 1 p.m. Highway Patrol is preparing, obviously, for more traffic nationwide. TSA preparing just the same. They're expecting potentially record-breaking busy at checkpoints nationwide at the airports, Nick.
Xavier, thank you for clarifying that for me. But whenever people plan to leave, they also need to keep an eye on the weather. Xavier, thank you so much. An outbreak of Arctic air may impact their trip. You're looking live right now at Snowman Cam in Gaylord, Michigan. Yeah, that's in northern Michigan right there. Look at that. That actually looks pretty good. In the air, they're catching some snow on this Black Friday. Hey, Max, this looks really interesting and fun, particularly because, kids love that stuff. But what could those who are trying to travel expect this weekend?
Right, we're expecting the Great Lakes region to be impacted by all the snow, and there is a breaking alert right now, a snow squall warning in effect for central Pennsylvania right along I-80. This is about an hour west of State College, and that's because snow is coming down so intensely that we're seeing brief whiteout associated with this. You can think of this as like a severe thunderstorm warning for snowfall. So dangerous travel expected near Sandy, Pennsylvania. Again, that's west of State College. This snow squall warning goes until the 15-minute mark. So at 7:15 Eastern time, we'll see this wrap up. But we have plenty of other alerts as well. As we showed you that live camera from northern Michigan, we have winter storm warnings there. Lake effect snow warnings for the heaviest snow totals expected through parts of upstate New York. You can see the snow coming on down right now over central Pennsylvania. There you see that dark blue indicating that snow burst that's causing a visibility concern and a travel concern there as well. The snow will pile up, especially lakeside. Look at this. Erie, up to 2 feet of snow there. Watertown, up to 4 feet possible in upstate New York, and 1 to 2 feet is also possible as we look at parts of northern lower Michigan and into the UP as well. So, Nick, we're tracking this intense snowfall as it comes down. We'll keep tabs on what's happening in Pennsylvania and get a look at the big travel map to check in on airport delays that may be possible later this holiday weekend.
And Max, if we're trying to avoid that snow squall, do we want to leave on the front end or the back end of that if we're driving?
Right, so that's moving eastward. So as we look towards State College, that's where Penn State is. We're likely seeing that heavy burst move that way. So again, just hold off on the travel through central Pennsylvania here for the next couple of hours at least, and then we'll see what pans out as that continues to move eastward as we get through the rest of the day, Nick.
Max Paris, thank you so much, sir. We're keeping an eye on other top stories this morning, including a key meeting between Russia and North Korea. Russia's defense ministers in Pyongyang this morning. The nations have been strengthening their ties, finding common ground over the war in Ukraine. U.S. officials say North Korea has sent 10,000 troops to the front lines to support Russia. Pyongyang is also believed to be supplying Moscow with weapons. This as Russian President Vladimir Putin, after this week's attack on the country's energy systems, again has threatened to hit Ukraine with a new nuclear-capable missile. Well, the truce between Israel and Hezbollah appears fragile, but still intact today after the two sides accused each other of violating the ceasefire Thursday. American and French officials are reportedly in Beirut meeting with Lebanese army officials looking to see how they can help keep this deal afloat after an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon. Now, the IDF says it targeted militants headed to a rocket facility. And kids in Australia are defiant this morning after the country becomes the first in the world to ban social media for anyone under 16. Now, platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook face $33 million in fines for not preventing children from holding accounts. They have a year to work out the logistics before the penalties are enforced. Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, says the legislation was rushed. Australia's Prime Minister says the law is meant to protect children from online danger. And it's a big weekend for football. College football fans have their eyes on the classic rivalry between Ohio State and Michigan on Saturday. And in the NFL, the first-place Kansas City Chiefs play the Las Vegas Raiders today at 3 Eastern. But on Thursday night, the Packers beat the Dolphins 30-17 to wrap up the Thanksgiving Day games. Quarterback Jordan Love racking up 274 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The running back Josh Jacobs finishing the game with 43 rushing yards on 19 carries and 74 receiving yards. But that's not all. The pair also walking off the field with John Madden's turducken to a big roar. The Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants 27-20. The Cowboys had several big plays to secure the win, including a pick six by DeMarvion Overshown in the second quarter and a forced fumble in the third. And the Detroit Lions beating the Chicago Bears for their first Thanksgiving Day win in 7 years. The Lions running up an early lead over the Bears in the first half. The Bears managed to close the gap in the second half and had a chance to tie or win the game with the final possession. But get this, the Bears failed to use a timeout, letting the clock run down, and lost the game on an incomplete pass as time ran out. I cannot wait to talk to Big Daddy about that one come Monday morning. Well, the presidents of Mexico and the U.S. sound hopeful about avoiding a trade war. But will that optimism meet a wall when President-elect Trump takes charge in January? The latest on the tariff threats and the Trump transition to power. And no labels, no candidate. What we're learning about what may have helped bring down the centrist effort for a viable presidential alternative to Republicans and Democrats this year.
Remarkable women from across the country. 125 trailblazers will be honored with a chance to win $25,000 for the nonprofit of their choice. Nominations open through December 20th. Go to NewsNationNow.com to enter a remarkable woman today.
We get it. Learning something new is hard, especially a new language. So make it easy on yourself with Babbel, the language learning app that teaches real-world conversation for any situation. Babbel is more than vocab memorization. It teaches practical phrases you'll actually use. Say auf Wiedersehen to I give up, au revoir to it's too hard, and hola to real conversations with real people in a new language. Ready to find your follow-through? Get Babbel. It starts here. Start learning today at Babbel.com.
For more than a decade, Farxiga has been trusted again and again and again. Ask your doctor about Farxiga.
There's something going around the Gordon home. Good thing Gertrude found Delsum. Now what's going around is 12-hour cough relief. And the giggles. The family that takes Delsum together feels better together.
We wish you a whole turkey, we wish you a whole ham, we wish you all the sides and fixins, and it's all to go.
I guess you won't get to burn the turkey this year.
Funny.
And it's all to go.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling
If you still have symptoms after trying a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq works differently. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling as fast as 2 weeks for some. And even at the 3-year mark, many people felt this relief. Rinvoq can stop joint damage and in PSA can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
Your parents have given you some amazing gifts. Celebrate the ones you inherited with Ancestry DNA. Explore the detailed family roots, cultures, and traits that shaped who you are today for only $39.
From celebration moments to joyride moments, your moments are worth protecting against RSV. RSV is a highly contagious virus. If you're 60 or older with certain chronic conditions, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. You know how to protect against COVID and flu. So ask your pharmacist or doctor about scheduling Pfizer's RSV vaccine too, because moments like these matter.
The fourth Thursday in November. It's the day our families come together. The day food is shared. The day America gives thanks. At NewsNation, we give thanks to you, to all Americans, as we stand strong together and remember our values, our freedom, our loved ones, and this great country we call home.
Welcome back, 16 minutes after the hour. This morning, President Joe Biden and Mexico's president hope they can dodge a tariff war under a Trump administration. The comments come after a phone call between President-elect Donald Trump and Mexico's newly sworn-in president. It follows a threat by Mr. Trump to impose a 25% tariff on products coming from Mexico and Canada. NewsNation's Libby Dean is with me now live from Washington, D.C. And Libby, the trade wasn't the only topic of discussion between the two. There are other things at play.
Yeah, good morning, Nick. We're learning more about this conversation, but a lot at play and at stake here for both Mexico and the U.S. But you're right that this started all by talking about trade, but that wasn't necessarily what the entire phone call was about. We saw Trump post on Truth Social on Wednesday that he wanted to tariff Mexican goods being imported into the U.S. at 25%. Now, that led to this phone call between President-elect Trump and Mexico's president. But we're getting different descriptions of what went down during that phone call. Now, Trump posting on social media, quote, Mexico will stop people from going to our southern border effective immediately. The key words there, effective immediately. While Mexico's president is claiming, quote, Mexico's position is not to close borders, but to build bridges between governments and between people. So certainly different descriptions of this conversation. But this conversation, Nick, really hitting on two promises that Trump has made a platform throughout his campaign and now his time becoming president-elect. And that is to tariff other countries as well as stop the flow of illegal immigration at our southern and northern border. We saw these tariffs proposed as well on Canada. Nick?
Libby, there's also a new wave of threats directed at elected officials. Who's been targeted this time?
Unfortunately, we've seen these threats coast to coast throughout the week, and it started with Republicans being targeted. Now we're seeing Democrats being targeted as well. What we're learning is 5 Connecticut Democrat lawmakers were targeted by bomb threats on Thanksgiving Day. Now, the names of those being Senator Chris Murphy, Reps Jim Himes, Joe Courtney, John Larson, and Johanna Haynes. Those are the 5 Connecticut lawmakers that claimed they were targeted by bomb threats. But the threats come just days after several of Trump's cabinet appointees faced similar threats, which the FBI is currently investigating. But no telling as of now if these two were tied together, these two threats that we saw, these Thanksgiving Day threats and then the threats against Trump's appointees and former appointees. But of course, this keeping United States Secret Service, local law enforcement, everyone really on their toes here and really keeping their head on a swivel as we unfortunately see these continued threats throughout the entire week. Nick?
Libby Dean with that troubling but very serious story out of Washington, D.C. Thank you so much. Joining us now, Democratic strategist David Carlucci and Republican strategist Ali Bartlett. You know, hearing about these threats against elected officials is troubling enough. But we are seeing that there's been a big change from voters, right? A new political Morning Consult poll found that 59% of Harris voters thought the economy was on the right track before the election. Now, that number's dropped to 36%. And on the flip side, 8% of Trump voters thought it was on the right track pre-election. Now that number has jumped to 28%. David, what do you make of these flips?
Well, I think it's that saying, perception is reality. And look, Kamala Harris said, I believe, the right things on the campaign trail, focusing on those bread and butter issues. But it was the image, the perception that she had that was damaging to, as we see in this poll, the public perception. Once the election happened, we see these ideas almost flip. And it's not that the economy has changed. That's for certainly sure in these past couple of weeks. But it's that now the perceptions have changed. And that's why I think it's so important that Democrats going forward, they have to be very succinct in their message, that it has to be more simple, if you will. Donald Trump, he has his slogans fit on a bumper sticker. He's not explaining what he's going to do, but he just says, hey, I'm going to bring down the costs of products you buy. I'm going to cut energy bills in half. Almost laughable to many people. But when people are struggling, they're gravitating towards these simple answers. So perception is reality. That rules the day.
Ali, here's David talking about a simple, succinct message from Democrats. How do they do that? Does this president-elect show that his biggest test would be whether or not he can actually get his policies to keep prices down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely don't disagree that perception is reality. I don't think that these poll results are incredibly surprising. I think that once the candidate that you voted for won, your perception in general starts to become more positive and vice versa. But yes, this will be a lot about whether or not the new administration can actually deliver. But also keep in mind that 4 years isn't a lot of time to see a massive shift in the economy. I think President Trump's policies are what's really going to speak for themselves, like they did last time around. You know, we're going to see what he is able to put in place to improve the economy over the long term. And what voters know about President Trump is that promises made are promises kept, and that's why he was reelected.
I want to talk about what we led into this segment with, because when we're speaking with Libby Dean, she talked about threats against elected officials. Several Connecticut Democratic lawmakers reporting bomb threats on Thanksgiving. And that came after several of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees were recently threatened. David, let's break this down. How do authorities stop this, particularly when it could be coming from overseas?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. Unfortunately, this is not anything new. And we see it because these are high-profile officials. But this is happening, unfortunately, every day around the country with local officials, even high school students being bullied. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we have to figure something out. It's very difficult. And we need to stand together, Republicans, Democrats, and say, look, any type of political intimidation cannot be tolerated. We have to stand together and call it out. But more than that, we have to give law enforcement the tools to be able to intercept this and stop it. And that's why I'm hopeful with new technological advances. We know the bad guys are always figuring out an edge, but we really need to invest in this in terms of the technology that's used today. Many of it for many positive purposes. People have turned it on its back and are using it to evade law enforcement, to be sneaky, and to really harass people and almost ruin their lives. In these cases, no one was injured or hurt, thank God. But we have cases where law enforcement is distracted, is disoriented, and people get hurt, and some people have even lost their lives because of swatting accidents have gone awry. So this is something we've got to stand together and really figure out a way to stop it.
And Ali, I'll say this, what really had me concerned was when we talked about that swatting incident or the bomb threat, particularly with Hackseth. And he has like 7 children who were at the home at the time. Ali?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really scary environment that we're living in, and I completely agree that this has to be a bipartisan effort to make sure that we are not facilitating this type of political violence. Obviously not to make it partisan, but we saw this a lot on the campaign trail with the 2 assassination attempts to President Trump's life, and just the consistent willingness to facilitate rhetoric that is violent in that way cannot be acceptable on either side. And we do have to work together to put a stop to that. And I'm hoping that with President Trump coming into office, we can set those differences aside and make sure that people's safety comes first and foremost. And in general, setting aside that kind of violent, very extreme political rhetoric, that's toxic all around. And we're seeing the results of that. And so my hope is that this is a lesson learned and that we can move forward positively into the future.
And my hope, Allie and David, is that the two of you have an opportunity to spend this weekend with your families and loved ones. Thank you both so much for coming on this morning.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Is it right to swipe left because of politics? It looks to be a growing trend in the dating world. Hey, stay off my phone. A relationship and dating coach talks to us about the partisan divide and how much of a deal breaker it really is for most people. Plus, going high tech to save souls, how the Catholic Church is using an AI Jesus and what parishioners think about it.
Stay tuned to get an all-new Bell & Howell Bionic Floodlight for 50% off. Last year, over 100 million packages were stolen. Worse yet, over 500,000 homes were broken into. The party's over, porch pirates and prowlers. This is the Bionic Solar Floodlight from Bell & Howell. It showers a massive 1,000-foot area of ultra-bright light all the way from your house to the road or the whole backyard. Plus, it's solar-powered, so it's free to operate. When prowlers approach, the motion sensors activate and bam! They go bye-bye. Plus, it expands your outdoor living space, making yards, patios, and walkways brighter. This next-generation solar-powered light features 120 high-intensity LED bulbs on 3 separate adjustable panels, delivering multi-directional light. It installs in seconds anywhere. No wires. Or stake it in the ground and customize the panels anywhere you want light. Look, your lights are too weak. But watch. Bam! That's Bionic light power. Check out the difference before and after. Which home looks safer to you? The Bionic Floodlight is the ultimate security light standing guard up to 25 feet, keeping your family safer. And no more critters getting in your trash. Now there's plenty of light to scare them away. It'll light up your life when you pull into a bright driveway and enjoy more outdoor living space with bright, beautiful light. Folks, the Bionic Floodlight delivers safety and style. Look at this yard before and after. It's a night and day difference. Some outdoor solar lights sell for over $150, but you can get the Bionic Solar Floodlight from trusted Bell & Howell for just $29.99. And we'll even ship it to you free. Order right now and get a second Bionic Floodlight at 50% off. And it all comes with our Bell & Howell 5-year warranty. The demand has been huge, so don't wait or you can miss out. Order right now.
To order, call 1-800-325-5313 or go to bionicfloodlight.com. So call 1-800-325-5313. That's 1-800-325-5313 or order online at bionicfloodlight.com.
You went to nuts.com with the best of intentions. You went to get the Christmas gummy bears, Jordan almonds, and chocolate truffles for your neighbor with a sweet tooth, and a holiday customizable tray for your kid's 4th grade teacher, and Santa's pants for your uncle who dresses up every year, and the Winter Wonderland box for your gift swap. But don't you need holiday treats to get through the season too? Better make that shopping cart a double. Treat yourself and others with 20% off and free shipping on your first order. Nuts.com. Much more than just nuts.
Some things are better left to a professional.
In hindsight, probably shouldn't have tried to remove my own appendix.
Like when it comes to finding financial advisors.
What was I thinking?
So leave it to Smart Asset to find them for you. Take the free quiz at smartasset.com. Then you'll be matched with up to 3 vetted fiduciary financial advisors. To get started, take the Advisor Match Quiz now at smartasset.com.
I was this close. This close.
Welcome back. 28 minutes after the hour. Here's a look at the top stories we're following this morning. It's the most wonderful time of the year for retailers. Shoppers are hitting the stores in person and online to fill out their holiday gift lists. Now, despite lingering inflation, early data from Adobe shows consumers have spent more than $77 billion online alone between November 1st and November 24th. And that number is actually up from last year. Some Amazon workers are kicking off a strike to, quote, make Amazon pay. They're planning to protest over wages today through Cyber Monday. Now, workers are expected to strike in major cities in the United States and in about 20 other countries. The Supreme Court is weighing in on whether or not a federal ban on sweet-flavored vaping products should be put back in place. The justices are expected to hear arguments Monday. Now, vaping companies say the Food and Drug Administration unfairly changed its requirements without enough warning. Federal regulators cracked down on sweet vapes after a spike in use by teens, and they want the ban upheld. The FDA has denied more than 1 million marketing applications for candy or fruit-flavored vaping products. In a social media post back in September, the president-elect vowed to save vaping.
¿Veniste solo? ¿Qué tantos años tienes, mijo?
10.
Well, Thanksgiving morning, troopers with the Texas Department of Public Safety found a 10-year-old boy from El Salvador by himself at the southern border. They say a smuggler abandoned him, and the child told them he was lost. The boy was carrying a phone and said that his mother was here in the United States. That child is now with U.S. Border Patrol. And check this out. This is an AI Jesus that's taking confessions and counseling churchgoers. Religious researchers and leaders have been testing it out in a Catholic chapel in Switzerland. The AI avatar of Jesus had about 900 conversations with visitors offering advice from the Bible about their problems and their faith. The leaders behind the project say the feedback has largely been positive. The Vatican has appointed a friar as its top AI expert and is evaluating the challenges and opportunities an AI Jesus can provide to the faithful. We're also tracking an Arctic outbreak that could impact the trip home for those who are traveling. Our own meteorologist Max Paris is back with a look at your holiday travel forecast. Max, who should be most concerned as they head out to the roadways this weekend?
So mostly like the central and eastern United States are seeing the coldest weather conditions of the season so far. Certainly want to bundle up. Put that winter emergency gear in the trunk if you are doing long distance driving so that if you do get stranded, you'll be good to go, making sure that you're staying safe. We have freeze alerts from Texas all the way to North Carolina today, and you can see why. Temps are dipping down into the 30s, and it does feel colder than that because of a wind out of the northwest. 5 to 10 degrees lower than the actual temp is what you can expect for the wind chill or how it actually feels on the skin when you step outside. As we get into the afternoon, it'll be pretty chilly here in Chicago, like yesterday, mid-upper 20s. Single-digit highs in Bismarck, but it'll feel closer to 0 all day long. Back below 0 in the Dakotas tonight. And let's go all the way down to North Florida. Check that out. Down into the 30s as well. So those alerts for the cold might actually extend farther southward with a touch of frost possible. Meanwhile, as we get later into the weekend, the cold will moderate certainly, but still lowest temps of the season so far. Now, the good news is that cold air spills in. It's mainly dry. So look at this. Lots of green plains on our travel map today. And tomorrow, yeah, a touch of delay possible through possibly Kansas City or Detroit with some light snow. And look at this. Sunday, Nick, as everyone's heading home, good news, the dry air mass continues. That means we're likely going to see a lot easier travel for much of the country than what we saw heading towards Thanksgiving. It's just going to be a lot colder.
Yeah, Max, and I don't think people mind the cold as long as they can travel safely.
Exactly.
Max Paris, thank you so much. It was a centrist attempt to provide a viable alternative to the Democratic and Republican presidential tickets this year. But it fizzled out, and turns out there might be a reason for that. How far did President Biden's allies go to make sure no labels came up with no candidate for election? That's next. And whether you're shopping online or in the stores, it can be easy to get a bit carried away with the swipe of that credit card or a click of a button. We'll share some tips on how to avoid overspending and going down that spending spiral. But whatever you do, don't forget to download the NewsNation app to take us with you wherever you go. Breaking news and updates on the stories that you need delivered right to your home screen. Stay up to date and watch anytime, anywhere at newsnationnow.com and in the app.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after trying a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq works differently. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling as fast as 2 weeks for some. And even at the 3-year mark, many people felt this relief. Rinvoq can stop joint damage, and in PSA can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
HomeGlow just cleaned my entire house for $19. Seriously, $19. They showed up right on time and did my dishes, my laundry. They even cleaned my windows. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19. I love using HomeGlow, and I think you will too.
I can feel the winds of change.
Decorating for Christmas is a hassle. There's getting heavy boxes, untangling wires, dragging out the big, bulky items. And who wants to see all those ugly wires and deflated decorations? Now, there's the brand new Star Shower Slideshow, the ultimate in holiday decorating, featuring big and bold animated Christmas images that move across your home, transforming it from dark to dazzling. Star Shower Slideshow features advanced LED technology that is now brighter and more colorful than ever. Look at the side-by-side difference to string lights. Star Shower lights up your entire home with up to 3,200 square feet of coverage. Just place the stake in the ground, plug in a slide, and press play. It's that easy. Choose your motion for quick moving slides, slow down the pace, or freeze the images to be still.
This is so easy to install. You just plug it in, hit the switch, and pow, it just comes to life.
Everyone's got to see this. It's spectacular. It's the hit of the party. Everybody's talking about it.
Order today and you'll receive 4 unique Christmas slides. There are slides with Santas, reindeer, wreaths, ornaments, gingerbread men, and more. Call or go online now to get your Star Shower Slideshow with 4 Christmas slides for just $39.99. But wait, order now and get an instant $10 discount, so it's only $29.99. Plus, you'll receive 2 bonus slides absolutely free. The popular Snowflake Slide and the Snowman Slide for more variety. And that's not all. Find out about how to get the Star Shower remote. Forget going out on the cold, dark night. Now, with the press of a button, you can operate Star Shower from the comfort of your home. Breaking news: Star Shower sells out every single year, and we have very limited inventory. So there's a strict limit of 3 per order. This could be your last chance to get the complete Star Shower Slideshow set at this low price. So order now.
Call 1-800-775-1773 or visit slideshowchristmas.com. So call 1-800-775-1773 or visit slideshowchristmas.com now.
All right, 37 minutes after the hour, this is a really interesting story. The centrist group No Labels promised a third-party presidential bid for this election, but no candidate came forward. Now, newly unsealed documents are potentially revealing why. Private proposals by Democratic allies of President Joe Biden aim to undermine the effort to provide another option for Americans. The tactics even included sending clowns and musicians to harass the founder of the third-party movement, No Labels. Now, No Labels leaders are now taking this effort to federal court, arguing that the behind-the-scenes moves ultimately damaged the appeal of No Labels, making them less able to recruit electable candidates. For more insight now, I'm joined by Ryan Clancy, Chief Strategist of No Labels. Ryan, we're familiar with politics being a no-contact sport and possibly being dirty at times, but this seems to go beyond the pale.
It is. This is not typical hardball politics. And the reason for this is ultimately what No Labels was trying to do over this last couple of years was get on the ballot. And getting on the ballot in this country has the same sets of legal protections as voter registration. So people would be outraged if they heard that anybody was trying to stand in the way of voters being registered. Well, we were trying to get on the ballot. It's the exact same thing. And some of the tactics they used were well beyond the pale.
Let's dig deeper into some of these unsealed emails between various Democratic strategists, including a proposal calling for the personal harassment of No Labels founder Nancy Jacobson. Now, the goal was to, socially stigmatize her by hiring clowns to hang out on her block. And they posted flyers attacking her, even sending a truck-carrying musical performers to wake her up at 6 in the morning and disturb her neighbors?
I mean, that was some of the proposals. Some of the things they actually followed through on is a mobile billboard going through her neighborhood, accusing her of spreading MAGA hate. We had people associated with us who were told, they were met with, they said, if you don't walk away from No Labels, you'll never work in this town again. Now, look, in this cycle, look, it was mostly Democratic-aligned operatives who were coming after us. It's not that there are Republicans who've never done this kind of stuff before, but the public should be outraged about this, because even if you're not a no-label supporter or you weren't behind our ballot access effort, this is a really pernicious thing that is happening more and more, where parties try to align to keep their competition off the ballot. And that is about the most undemocratic thing you can possibly do.
And Ryan, let's go back to that, because you made a point of highlighting that this seems to be mostly a Democratic effort, and it's not like this is beyond what Republicans can do, but where the inference is that Democrats were most concerned about Joe Biden as a candidate and felt as though they needed to, help him in any way that they could?
I guess so. I mean, they should have been a lot more focused on getting a better candidate or offering better ideas. Because look, if you zoom out and you look at the whole cycle, every single candidate that challenged President Biden, either in the Democratic Party or outside of it. So I'm thinking about Dean Phillips, Bobby Kennedy in the Democratic primary, No Labels, the Green Party, President-elect Trump in the general. In every one of those cases, Democratic-aligned operatives tried to kick them off the ballot, all while a lot of them would go on shows like this and talk about, oh, we're the pro-democracy people. No, you're not. It is the height of hypocrisy for them to claim that, and they should really be ashamed for what they did.
Ryan, I want you to keep us updated on the next steps of this movement and the court effort, because this is a story we definitely want to continue to follow. Ryan Clancy, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
From no labels to labeling your political feelings and affiliation on your dating profile, to weed out the, other side. How the partisan divide is impacting America's love connections. Plus, the busiest shopping weekend of the year is here. It could be great news for retailers, but bad news for your wallet. How you can set boundaries and avoid sinking into a deep well of debt.
Hank used to suffer from what felt like a cold and flu medicine hangover in the morning. Then he switched to Mucinex Night Shift. Mucinex is uniquely formulated to leave your system faster so you wake up ready to go. Try Mucinex Night Shift and feel the difference.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Skyrizi.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Skyrizi helped visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And with Skyrizi, many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 2 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Now's the time to take control of your Crohn's.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
My hair was thinning all around my hairline.
My dermatologist recommended Nutrafol. It's 100% drug-free and clinically tested.
My hair is longer, thicker.
Nutrafol is life-changing for me.
Get growing at Nutrafol.com.
What would you pay for an iPad Pro? I only paid $42 on Deal Dash.
DealDash.com. Online auction since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. And this smart charcoal grill sold for $16. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20. Deals like these and many more happen in the thousands of daily auctions on DealDash.com. All auctions start at $0. And remember, everything must go.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56. I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And you get a 90-day money-back guarantee with your first purchase.
This brand new iPhone sold for less than $42. And this DJI drone sold for less than $21.
And I got it for $16 on Deal Dash.
And shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
There are auctions going on right now. So what are you waiting for?
Mike Huckabee here for Vinia, the remarkable red grape superfood for better blood flow. I have taken Vinia every day for 3 years. It's been a life changer for me. The science is sound. In a 90-day clinical trial, Vinia significantly increased the dilation of arteries. This dilation increases blood flow. Better blood flow gives me the physical energy I want. Better blood flow means more oxygen can go to my brain to give me the mental alertness that I need to be at the top of my game. Call or go online to get your first month free. Guaranteed results or your money back.
Build the pool yourself. What could go wrong?
Some things are better left to a professional.
It dried so fast.
Like when it comes to finding financial advisors.
Mom!
So leave it to Smart Asset to find them for you. Take the free quiz at smartasset.com. Then you'll be matched with up to 3 vetted fiduciary financial advisors. To get started, take the Advisor Match Quiz now at smartasset.com.
Terrific.
We went with the website nuts.com because nuts and dried fruit and pretzels and trail mix and gummies and chocolate and espresso beans and malted milk balls and crackers and popcorn and sesame sticks and veggie chips and energy squares and fudge and jelly beans and seeds and rock candy and saltwater taffy and dried berries and fruit leather and bars and jerky and so much more .com was already taken. Get 20% off and free shipping on your first order at nuts.com. Yes, we have more than nuts, but still the website is just nuts.com.
A warning this morning as you get ready to shop till you drop, especially if you're buying online. I want you to take a close look at what you're paying for. Some fast-growing e-marketplaces like Temu and Shein are selling products that U.S. regulators say may be fakes or counterfeits of items you're looking to put under the tree, especially toys. Some U.S.-based toy makers are concerned they're offering dupes and that may not be safe. So as you look to save big on Black Friday, take the extra time to be sure you're really getting the real thing. All right, today kicks off the busiest shopping period of the year. According to Deloitte's holiday survey, Americans plan to dish out a whopping $1,778 on gifts, travel, and other seasonal expenses this year. That's up nearly 10% from last year. This spending frenzy could mean financial trouble for those who don't plan properly. For more insight into dodging debt, I'm now joined by consumer financial expert Andrea Warwick. And Andrea, you and I have had this conversation offline about people not always realizing that just because you got room on that credit card doesn't mean you need to spend it all.
Exactly. And if you are shopping during Black Friday today and through the weekend or during any sales event, if you put that purchase on a credit card and you don't pay it off, that interest that you're paying is much greater than any discount you got. And so now you're going to be paying more for that. And they'll basically take away the savings you originally secured.
Andrea, you always talk about starting with the budget. How can we set realistic limits for ourselves this holiday season?
I mean, the most important thing is to actually think beyond just gifts. Everybody budgets for gifts or has an idea of what they're going to buy and who they're buying for, how much they're going to spend. But what about all those other seasonal expenses that come up this time of year? It could be the family photos you take for your greeting cards, then all the postage to send them out, extra groceries for holiday parties, or if you're entertaining out-of-town guests. This could also be the new attire, tips for service professionals. So you really have to build this into your budget. And that could then mean spending less on gifts. And I also do love using a gift tracking app like Santa's Bag. So once you do know what you're going to buy, we'll jot down an idea for everybody, a budget per person, and then you could track how much you're actually spending through the season and look at it at any time. Sometimes just seeing how much you've actually spent will deter those unnecessary purchases.
Andrea, I have one friend who will not use a credit card for gift purchases for that reason, but some are still paying off credit cards from last holiday season. What's the best way to address this?
Yeah, and what's scary is that 1 in 3 consumers are already planning to go deeper into debt to afford the holidays. So people already are saying, I can't pay my balance off, but I'm willing to put more on there. If you have any debt on a credit card, remember you're paying high interest fees. So consider transferring the balance to a 0% balance transfer card. You can compare these cards at cardrates.com. This will give you up to 21 months to pay off the credit card with no interest fees accruing. This will buy you time to get through the holidays. So that's just really important. Now, if you are somebody who is savvy with your credit card and you pay off your balance, so consider using a flat rate cashback card. I like the Bread American Express cashback card. This is going to give you an unlimited 2% 2% back at every store you shop at. So now maybe you could earn some extra cash back to pay off those purchases.
Andrea, break down loud budgeting and slow shopping, because we're seeing these two topics trend online.
Yes, these social media trends can actually help your finances. So with loud budgeting, this suggests you be open about your financial struggles and don't hide behind them. And during the holidays, this could mean having gift talks with your family and friends and setting expectations. Maybe you explain that you're not in the financial position to spend a lot of money and buy a lot of gifts or to go to those fancy dinners, and suggest alternatives. Maybe you host a potluck at your home for a holiday feast or holiday gathering. And rather than buying everybody a present, focus on just the kids, or maybe set up a Secret Santa gift exchange where you buy just one gift rather than multiple.
I love that. Andrea Warrock, thank you so much. You know we will be talking about this come the new year on ways to now handle what we spent over the holidays. Andrea, thank you so much.
I'll be back for sure. Thank you for having me.
Whoa, Nelly, are those human horses we see? Find out how this Thanksgiving tradition is stirring things up in today's Dose of Happy. And would you go out with someone who didn't vote the same way you did this election? It's a growing topic on the dating scene. Relationship and dating coach Ryan Holley explains the trend and just how big of a deal breaker politics might really be.
Molly leaving was one thing, but then I thought Mom's osteoporosis might keep us stuck on the couch. No way.
If you have postmenopausal osteoporosis and are at high risk for fracture, you can do more than just slow bone loss. You can build new bone in 12 months with Evenity. Evenity is proven to significantly reduce spine fracture risk.
She said the Evenity she's taking builds new bone. Builds new bone!
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a heart problem. Tell your doctor if you have had a heart attack or stroke. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it, as serious events have occurred with Evenity. Signs include rash, hives, swelling of the face or throat, which may cause difficulty in swallowing or breathing, muscle spasms or cramps, numbness, or tingling. Tell your doctor about severe jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity. Report hip, groin, or thigh pain. Unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred with Evenity.
Building bone? We dig it.
Want stronger bones? Ask your doctor about Evenity.
Deck the turkey with gravy and fixings. Fa la 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 la.
Dad, we are at a restaurant.
'Tis the season for ham and pork roast. Fa la 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 la.
Good thing I forgot my hearing aid.
We wish you a lot of yeast.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
The Black Friday sale is on with the lowest price of the year. Order online in minutes and your kit that treats common and life-saving medicines is rushed to your door. Don't miss Black Friday savings. Visit urgentcarekit.com/Black Friday. That's urgentcarekit.com/Black Friday.
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
There's something going around the Gordon home. Good thing Gertrude found Delsum. Now what's going around is 12-hour cough relief. And the giggles. The family that takes Delsum together feels better together.
You like that? Giddy up. It's a day at the races, but not what you think in today's Dose of Happy. That's right, only in New Orleans, y'all. It's a relatively new Thanksgiving Day tradition that's seen in New Orleans, and it's been stirring up fun for 5 years now, called the Human Horse Races. It's where people are the horses and their riders go piggyback style or whatever fits their fancy. And although there seems to be a lot of horsing around, the money raised benefits local animal and wildlife rescue groups. All right, the dating world divided by politics? Say it isn't so. Yes, post-election, more singles are keeping an eye out for potential partners with opposing political views. The taboo topic dominating the dating scene, according to a 2023 survey from the American Enterprise Institute, nearly 2/3 of Democrats say they would be more likely to swipe left on a Republican and vice versa. And for most Democrats surveyed, voting for Trump is a deal breaker. 84% say they'd be less likely to date a Trump supporter. Well, for more insight, I'm now joined by relationship and dating coach Ryan Holley. Ryan, thanks so much. You know, there's so many questions I have because I'm wondering if there's a difference between genders. I'm wondering if age is a factor. Ryan, some are so consumed by this that they're scanning dating apps for clues as to how other people may have voted. Does this surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, first, we obviously live in a more polarized political climate, but when you factor in insecure attachment and attachment theory in general, it actually makes a lot of sense. People that are going to be less prone to being open to dating somebody that is of a different political persuasion is more likely to actually be an insecure person, especially when you factor in avoidant attachment, people that really do struggle with love and intimacy and opening up. They have this preconceived notion that they have to find the perfect partner, the perfect relationship that has no flaws, no conflict, no disagreements. So a political disagreement can seem insurmountable to someone with these insecurities, whereas a secure person can see a more nuanced point of view. Well, we have similar values here and here. We both have the same view and desire for family, religion, things like that. A person that's more insecure is going to take any kind of disagreements and amplify them tenfold in their mind. The more insecure a person is too, the more likely they are to view things in, all or nothing thinking. This person is either all good or they're all bad without being able to see the nuance.
And we do know that relationships of different political stances can survive. We look at Mary Matlin and James Carville, so we know that people on different sides of the political aisle can thrive together. Some are even accused of trying to hide their politics. There's now a belief that listing yourself as a moderate on your profile actually means you're a Republican. Are people reading too much into all of this?
They're not reading too much into it. This stuff is actually happening. And again, it really has to do with how the person is wired. Attachment theory has to do with nurturing, how they were given love as a child, and that's how they bond and attach to others. A person with more of an anxious attachment is going to be the one that is more likely to try to prove themselves as being lovable, as being worthy, and they are more likely to maybe fudge their political persuasion on their profile, put moderate when they really are more Republican or they are more Democrat. A person that is more avoidant is going to be much more strict, and you are either what I want or you are not, because they have this pursuit of this perfect fantasy relationship, but that, by the way, doesn't exist in the real world.
Ryan, there's so much I could talk to you about with this. When I'm telling you, I think I tend to swipe one way on a Friday night than I would on a Monday morning, but that's a different conversation. Ryan, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
On this day, we celebrate new frontier in aviation, a football legend, and several big moments from in the music world. Today is November 29th. Now that turkey is done, bring on Black Friday. In 1929, aviator Richard E. Byrd flew over the South Pole. Joe Montana of the San Francisco 49ers completed an NFL record of 22 consecutive passes. And you know him formerly from the Beatles. George Harrison died of cancer at the age of 58. In 2010, Adele's single, Rolling in the Deep, was released. It went on to win Billboard Song of the Year and a Grammy Award. Jack Dorsey announced he was stepping down as CEO of Twitter. And in 2023, Taylor Swift was named Spotify's most streamed global artist of the year with 26.1 billion streams. And Miss Swift is still Spotify's leading artist with more than 92 billion streams in 2024. Hey, we're at the top of the hour. I don't want you to go anywhere because we have what you need for this weekend. Windy weather, cozy weather, all that good stuff. The shows, what's on tap around the country, and news for all America coming at you right now.